Okay, this video is on how to make a pivot table. This is going to be very quick, short, and sweet, as if you need more information on pivot table basics, you can Google pivot tables, Microsoft Excel. But let's say that this is your data that you downloaded from your source. In this case, I've downloaded 10,000 rows for the month of February. And let's say that I'm interested and I've done some pre-work here. I've highlighted the organization, the course, the teacher, and total time. For the sake of privacy, I'm going to leave out any student information. So what you do is you click Shift and you go over to the column that I could do this. I could Shift Control go all to the right. I could keep Shift Control go all the way down and then pick my field lists. In fact, that might be the best way. Let me show that again. Go to A1, press Shift Control, right arrow. Then while Shift Control is still pressed down, click the down arrow. That selects all of your data. Notice here 10,755 rows. With that selected, remember with Microsoft it's select and then act. Insert pivot table, and it tells you what your range is. You could modify that, but we've already got it selected. Press OK. Now notice a pivot table appears and then your field names here. So we're just gonna make it very, very simple. We're gonna go to organization name. There's all your schools. We're gonna go to course name. We're gonna right click here. We're going to say field settings, click the layout tab, and click these two buttons, show item and repeat item labels. And then we're going to right click there and we're going to uncheck subtotals. So bear with me for a second while we do this. And then we're not going to consider teacher. We're just going to go down, we're going to skip that, and we're going to go down to total time. Notice here that your organization name and your course name appeared in rows just by default. Now if I click total time, Excel was smart enough to put it in values. Sometimes Excel is not smart enough to do that. So just for the sake of readability here, I'm gonna say format column width. I'm just gonna make it 15, just so that you can see that you have all of your data. So we've got school, we've got course name, and we've got a subtotal of total time. Now notice that it's not just math and reading. So in real life I had to make a table to translate third grade reading, second grade reading, and anything having to do with reading. I made it reading, just using tables in Access. But here we're bypassing Access and we're just going to using Excel. Okay, now I'm going to create a chart. It's pretty cool, the power that you get once you create the pivot table. I'm going to go to is it data? No, it's not data. Is it insert? Insert. Now you get all these charts. So let's say that we want a bar chart. Now notice here it says pivot chart and you've got a down arrow, pivot chart, and it gives you more selections. I like the 3Ds, but you could select any of these: clustered, stacked, 100% stacked, and 3D column. Let's just go with 3D column. If you don't like the results, you could always change it and press OK. It puts the chart right there. I like to do this. So click outside of the chart, click there, as long as this is a crosshairs, Control X, hit the plus here to create a new sheet, and I like to put the table on its own tab. Now, notice how your buttons, because you made this on a pivot table, let me label this chart. Oops. That's your data. This is your chart. You could label this pivot table, P-I-V-O, pivot. So your chart is based on this pivot table, but I'm going to deselect all, and I'm just going to select A Montoya, and all of a sudden the chart starts to look a little better. Now, let's kick this up a little bit with a background picture. I'm going to click right down here at the bottom. I'm going to right click and select Format Chart Area. I'm going to go there and there and there. Fill. And fill, let's see, picture. I want to select picture. I'm going to browse for a file and just double click that one. So now you have the beginnings of a nice looking pivot table. So notice, depending on where you click, you can resize. So let me click outside of here, let me click back inside of here, and when you get those buttons, you can resize the chart area. Now you could, so now we can start using our buttons. Or we can deselect A Montoya and select Alameda. If you want to compare Alameda to Alvarado, click Alvarado. So notice how it puts Alameda here on the left, Alvarado on the right. Okay? And you can deselect or select the course name. So to deselect, you just click select all, and then those go blank. And then you could type math. Okay? But if you do want both, you can deselect, select. Now let's try this. While select all is highlighted, type math, and that takes you down to math. Now while that's selected, type reading, and it's right below it. Now you get them both. To add a third school, I think you get the gist. Let's add Arroyo, and now you have 3 schools listed. So that's how you create a pivot table. It starts with the data, you select it all, you go to the pivot table icon, you create your pivot table, that gets you started, that gets you on your way. You create your chart with a nice little background, and now you have your filters. So that's really it. Let me know if you have any questions.